Actually, to be honest, I struggled with this concept from the very first time that I came in contact with this principle, and that was more than 30 years ago. Yeah, so I've been struggling for very, very many years with that whole idea of a distant effect or using something as a representative. Yeah, I think it's something that's very difficult for the Western mindset, maybe to understand properly. But of course, there are many Westerners involved in this program, so I think we need to kind of help somehow in maybe grasping the basic idea behind it. Yeah. Now, in actual fact, when you look at it closely, we are always using a representative. What we do all the time is we only use a subset. A subset. That means a smaller set of something that is huge, because the huge thing is very difficult to handle. Yeah, it's something very unwieldy and something extremely complex. Yeah, and something just basically huge. Yeah. So when we are talking, or when you're talking to me, or I'm talking to you, I'm just drawing on a very small part of me. Yeah. In fact, this part is a representative. So in actual fact, we are two representatives talking to each other. Yeah. So and this concept of representatives, or deputies. We could also say, well, this Roy that you see here is a deputy sent out by the totality of Roy, with all his background and all this and all the experiences and all the terrible things and all the good things and whatever. Yeah, and this is a subset. So now we can also see subsets in action around us. So let's say you have a huge company, yeah, which is something, yeah, very complex, a bit like an individual. Yeah, all these people in the company and all the people who are having wanting to say something and all the things that the company has done and all it's all contained in there. But what does the company send out into the world? It always sends out a subset, and the subset is like a logo. For example, a logo. Yeah, you take any big company, you take the Apple logo, for example, yeah, and it's just an apple, yeah, but what it represents is something huge. So the logo is actually a representative of that company and contains, in seed form, basically the whole thing is in there, yeah, and people see the logo, yeah, and associate with that logo something. Like you could use a car logo, you could use a car company, you can see this basically everywhere, or your favorite food from the favorite company. Then they'll have some way of showing that that the company is being represented and shown in a condensed form. Now, when you look at the hands, for example. Now, from complementary medicine or to alternative medicine, we know, for example, that the hands that they have energy channels. This is known from acupuncture, from acupressure. It's known from Ayurvedic system of medicine. It's known from a technique that is used in Germany, where the terminal endpoints are actually measured, and where you take a finger as a representative for the body, and you read on that particular finger through electrical means. You can read what's going on somewhere else. Yeah, so it's around us all the time, but it's something that when we are confronted with it in a very direct way, where we're kind of saying, well, you want to participate in the program, well then you pay your subscription and send us a photo, and we'll do it. Yeah, and it's something we kind of stumble across this idea and think, well, that can't, what's this? Yeah, but in actual fact, the hands, first of all, they are something very special, and they are if you look at it in many ways, they are what we send before us. Yeah, so like, for example, when people are engaging with each other, what do? Well, the first thing they do is they send their hand out. Yeah, and the hand is their representative. And the other person sends their hand out, and then we shake hands, for example, and we actually read from the handshake. Yeah, we read, well, what's this person like? Yeah, what can I tell? How open is that person? How, yeah, what can I expect? Yeah, and if somebody, like you probably experienced this, some people, they give you their hand, and it's like a wet cloth. Yeah, it's kind of, yeah, there's kind of nothing there. Yeah, and other people, they'll grip your hand and they'll say, oh, yeah, nice to meet you, and da 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 da. Yeah, so it represents something. Now, in modern science, yeah, there are a lot of theories describing the world and trying to understand the world and trying to grapple with the whole complexity of the world. They're trying to really get into this. And there are many theories saying or indicating, well, the world is something which is interconnected anyway. There is no part of the world that is not somehow connected to another part of the world, even if it's indirectly through an intermediary. Yeah, this is something that fascinates modern scientists also. It's something which is very difficult to grasp in its full entirety, because it may involve principles that have not yet been fully discovered and are not yet fully known. Yeah, so there are many theories. There's one theory from Rupert Sheldrake with these morphogenetic fields, for example, which are very useful in explaining observable phenomena that are going on over a distance. For example, just a simple example is, how come your pet dog seems to know when you're on your way home? Although you're at the office still, yeah, somehow he senses, oh, mother, father, child, they're coming soon. And they'll show this by some form of different activity. So that's a very simple kind of observable phenomena which has not been explained fully. Yeah, I don't even attempt to explain the background, because I basically don't know. But I do know there's something to it, and the fact of somebody sending a sample and saying, well, let me participate, let me be in the chamber with all the other people I want to participate, and that through that thing, through that subset of you, basically the photo is a subset, it's a lesser amount, a crystallized amount of you, yeah, and you being in there, it somehow it reflects back to the principle. This is the principle, the main kind of thing. It's a bit like, for example, yeah, it's a stupid notion, but like in the Wild West, in the towns, there'd be a sheriff, yeah, and the sheriff was responsible for law and order, but he had a deputy, and he would send the deputy in his name to do something. Yeah, and the deputy would then go back to the sheriff and say, well, I looked after that matter, there was this and this, and all this and this and this happened. So there was some kind of communication going on from in principle. Yeah, so it's a bit of a similar kind of, that's a way of looking at it so that it can be understood more fully. There's also, of course, my feeling, although I haven't been able to test this thoroughly, my feeling is that any sample going into the box should always be a sample from somebody who knows that they are being put in the chamber. Yeah. So if we were to take random people and take photos and just say, well, can we have a photo of your hand? We want, and without telling them what's going on, it might be that there's a disconnect. Yeah, it might be that on some awareness level, on some consciousness level, that is what makes the connection. Yeah, I don't really know, but it's something very worth investigating. And I think historically, many people historically knew that there's some connection between things over a distance. This is common. It's a common feature in humankind. Yeah, although without it really being known fully, it was accepted that that was the case. Dr. Bhattacharya, who did a lot of the fundamental research in the 50s and 40s, 50s, 60s, he used full photos of people. He used signatures of people. He would ask people to just send a piece of paper cross country by letter to his office, and he would then use those for the exposure to the light patterns that he was generating. Yeah, so there's many things that we can use. We've kind of said, well, we want a standardized way of doing it, and I was thinking about also doing full body photos, but I thought that might be, in these days of data protection, that might not be so suitable. Yeah, same thing with signatures. I mean, I wouldn't be comfortable sending my signature to somebody else I didn't know. Yeah, because who knows what kind of nonsense can be done with it. So, and then I thought, oh, we'll maybe use iris, because iris is also used in telemetric or biometric scans, yeah, to identify people. Yeah, so that has a uniqueness, a provable uniqueness. Yeah, but then I've thought, no, the hands are a very good thing, because they represent giving and receiving. There is this symbology, because we do both. We do both things with the same gesture. Yeah, and I thought, well, that's very nice, because being a participant in the program, you are receiving. Yeah, but because you are in a group of 80 other people, so one chamber contains 81 samples, so you're a member of an 81 person group, so there is giving and taking. All the participants, they are giving something and they are taking something. Yeah, so that's why in the end I thought, no, hands, this beautiful gesture that really represents a good way of handling this thing. Yeah. So does that clarify a little bit? A lot more could be said about this. Believe me, there's a lot more. But a lot of it is speculative, and I'm a very practical person. I kind of say, well, I need the sample. We need to make that connection with the person. We need to generate the patterns. We need to see if we can locate what would be ideal for a person at a particular time. So that's why we have the research part of the program, where we really go into in-depth analysis of the status of a person, of the color status, because that can be actually identified. Yeah, so that's my small contribution to other people. Will probably have, when they hear this, could be they'll say, "Wow, no, God, it's obvious how it works. It's so obvious." Yeah, but some of it is not so obvious to me, and I kind of it takes a bit more time for me to get my brain around the basic idea. You know.